Okay, we can continue with the signs and symptoms of the burns. It includes pain and erythema locally, blisters, edema, red skin, fever, scar, hypothermia, shivering, increased oxygen consumption, altered physical appearance, poor skin turgor, and a dry mucous membrane. These are the major local effects seen just after burns. Coming to the systemic effect. Systemic effects mainly shock, fainting and hypotension, increased heart rate, pale and cold skin, and pulses become very weak. These are included in the systemic effect. And as we know, there is should have some fluid and electrolyte imbalances just after this burns, like hyponatremia, and sodium level. Sodium potassium pump become failure. So hyperkalemia, decreased intravascular fluid volume, oliguria, dehydration, dark concentrated urine may be there, and elevated blood level. So these are the major fluid and electrolyte imbalances seen just after these burns. Okay, then systemic, mainly fluid and electrolyte imbalance. Next for the respiratory system. Tachypnea, increased carboxyhemoglobin, decreased cerebral tissue oxygenation, increased mucosal edema, mainly because of the upper airway obstruction, and stridor, some abnormal respiratory sounds. Dyspnea, increased work breathing, cyanosis, and change in the voice of the child. These are the signs seen for respiratory system. And next, the cardiac system. Cardiac manifestations like increased vascular resistance, heart rate become increased. We already mentioned reduce the cardiac output, hypotension, oliguria, and weak peripheral pulses may be developed. We already discussed the rationales behind all those things. So just write it down. Then the gastrointestinal system. Decreased gastrointestinal motility, absence of the bowel sounds, nausea, vomiting, and in neurologic system, loss of consciousness, confusion, disorientation, headache, dizziness, memory loss, and visual changes can be seen. Then, how to diagnose? So, just after this burns occurs, we have to diagnose the problems by, we have to assess history and physical examination. We have to notify if any legal procedures are there because of any reasons are behind this are because of any abuse. We have to move legally. Then estimate the extent of the burn injury, estimated depth of injury, estimated severity of burns, and blood investigations like serum electrolyte, BUN, serum protein, serum albumin, and APG analysis. We have to analyze whether hyponatremia is there. Then urine specific gravity, X-ray. It is because of the smoke inhalation or trauma. Then wound cultures for starting the antibiotics. How to assess for the culture. So these are the major diagnostic testing. Then the major aspect, that is the management of burns. How to manage burns? So management of burns mainly for major burns, emergency care include remove from the area, stop the burn. Whether there is a burn area, burns have happened there, remove the child or the patient from there and try to stop the burn. Focus on the ABCs, A, airway, B, breathing, and C, circulation. Check for the patency, check for adequacy of ventilation, check for presence and regularity of the pulses, and begin IV fluid and oxygen therapy immediately. Okay. Then emergency care for minor burns are different. That includes stop the burning process, do not apply ice, don't disturb blistered or dead skin, don't remove the clothing that is stuck to the skin. Why? Because it can cause more injury, more peeling of the skin. So do not remove the clothing that is stuck to the skin. Cover with a clean cloth if there is a risk of contamination is there. Cover with a or wrap with a clean cloth over that burn area. Okay. Don't use ice. Why? While putting ice directly on a burn, which can cause a person's body to become too cold, causing further damage to the wound. Normally we are applying ice for a small wound, but putting ice directly on a burn which can cause person's body become too cold and the damage of the wound become more severe. And if the surrounding skin of the burn is damaged by the ice, it may causing the healing process. It may impair the healing process. So don't use ice. And some practices like apply egg whites, butter, or ointments. Don't use all those things. It can lead to infection. And don't break blisters. Why? Broken blisters are more vulnerable to infection. If it become open wound blisters, which leads to further infection. So don't try to break that blisters. Okay. Then moving on to the how to stop the burning process. Injured child should be placed in a horizontal position and rolled in a blanket. Chemical burns require continuous flushing with a large amount of water. I think you already learned about the first aid management of all these things, right? Injured child should be placed in a blanket, horizontal position rolled in a blanket, and chemical burns require continuous flushing with a large amount of running water. Okay, use of neutralizing agents is contraindicated in chemical burns because of exothermic reaction. Then, jewelry is removed to eliminate transfer of heat from metal and constriction resulting from edema. Okay. So that's regarding the burning process, how to stop the burning process. Then, just after stop this burning process, we have to assess the victim's condition and cover the burn or put a clean blanket or put a clean cloth over the burnt area. Transport the child to the medical hospital or medical health care. Provide reassurance. Don't be panic. Provide reassurance to the child or the patient. Then, how to treat minor burns, how to clean the wound, debridement of the wound, removal of the embedded debris and devitalized tissue, removal of blisters, contraindicated, and dressing with antimicrobial ointment, tetanus immunization is provided, exercise and amplification program. These are the major, for minor burns, mainly we are providing these all treatments. Okay. Then how to treat major burns. Initial goals are we have to save the life, maintain and protect the airway and restoring the hemodynamic stability. Later goals are replacement of missing skin, promoting healing, assessing and correcting complications. Initially we have to, our goal is to maintain the life. We have to save the life. That is our goal. Later goals are like how to how to reconstruct the impaired skin. That is the later goals. Okay, that is always keep in mind while caring a major wound or major burns. Okay, first monitor the airway and breathing. Oropharynx should be inspected for erythema, blister, ulceration and need for intubation. 100% oxygen with the tight fitting face mask. We are providing 100% oxygen, not mixed O2 or air is provided, providing 100% oxygen. Initially we have to assess whether there is any erythema, blister, ulceration and there is a need for intubation is there. So first that is we have to monitor airway and breathing. Next moving on to ABC is important. Okay. Next moving on to fluid replacement therapy. Fluid replacement therapy, we have to compensate for water and sodium loss, re-establish the sodium balance, restore circulating volume, provide adequate perfusion, and we have to correct acidosis and improve the renal function. These are our objectives. Just to compensate for the water loss and sodium loss, re-establish the sodium balance, maintain the sodium potassium pump, restore the circulating volume, extracellular, intracellular imbalance is there. So we have to restore the circulating volume, provide adequate tissue perfusion, how to maintain the acidosis or how to correct it. So based on the depending on the ABG value we have to correct it and improve the renal function. That is the second one, fluid replacement therapy. And crystalloid solutions are used during the initial therapy. Crystalloids are providing and the major parameters like vital signs, especially heart rate increase. So we have to maintain that urine output, adequacy of capillary filling and state of sensorium determines adequacy of the fluid resuscitation. So we have to maintain all those things. So that is